Hello, good morning, everyone. So, in the previous class, we have had an introduction about the sewage and some of the definitions associated with the uh, wastewater. Okay, and in today's class, we will see the different types of systems of sanitation and the sewerage system. Okay, here these two are the systems of sanitation. Okay, so remember there is a difference between systems of sanitation and sewerage systems. Okay, so first one is called as conservancy system, or it is also called as old conservancy system, and second one is water carriage system. Okay, so it is a modern system, that's why it is called as modern water carriage system. Okay, these are the systems of sanitation. Now let us see what is this conservancy system. Okay, so this system is also called as a dry system. Okay, so here what is done is the various types of the refuse and this waste water and waste is collected in the bins. Okay, and that dry matter is collected and it is taken to the point of disposal, and the non-combustible part of garbage such as sand, dust, clay, etc. are used for filling the low level areas to reclaim the land for the future development of the town. Okay, and whatever the combustible matter is there, that is burnt. Okay, the decaying matter are dried and disposed by burning, or it is used for the manufacture of the manure. Okay, so that means the organic part which is left, that will be used for the production of the manure by decomposing it for few days. Okay, so this is called as the conservancy system. Okay, so this is out of date system nowadays. Okay, but it is still prevailing in some smaller towns and villages where we don't have proper sewerage system. Okay, and in most of the rural parts of India, so this system is still existent uh, because of so many reasons, like the due to the absence of underground sewerage system, or maybe due to the funding issues, or due to the economical conditions of the people, and the due to the far off places from the towns or cities. So sometimes it becomes difficult to connect the sewerage to the interior parts of town and all. Under these circumstances, this conservancy system is still prevalent. Okay, here this human excreta, so which is collected separately in the conservancy latrines. Okay, so here what happens is this night soil is collected separately. Okay, and the liquid and semi-liquid wastes are collected separately after removal of the night soil. Okay, and it is buried in the trenches. Okay, somewhere outside of a town. After 2 to 3 years, the buried night soil is converted into excellent manure. Okay, so in conservancy system, sillage and storm water are carried separately in closed drains to the point of disposal, where they are allowed to mix with the river water without any treatment. Okay, so here basically the night soil is collected, and the sillage, that is the discharge from the kitchens and bathrooms, and also along with the storm water is carried separately in the drains. Okay, and that drain will have its point of disposal into the river or any other water body without any treatment, whereas the night soil and other liquid waste is collected and it is buried somewhere on the outskirts of the town or a city. Okay, where with some time, around 2 to 3 years, it gets converted into manure. Okay, then coming to this water carriage system. Okay, so with the advancement in the development of the cities and all, so this old conservancy system has become obsolete. Okay, and this water carriage system has come into existence. Okay, here the excremental matter, that is human excreta and all, is mixed up in large quantity of water, and it is taken out from the city through properly designed sewerage system, where they are disposed of after required treatment in a satisfactory manner prescribed by the pollution control boards. Okay, so essentially the sewage consists of 99.9% of water and just 0.1% of solids. All these solids remain in suspension and does not changes the specific gravity of water. Therefore, all the hydraulic formulae can be directly used in the design of sewerage system and the water treatment plants. Okay, so regarding this hydraulic formula and all, so I'll let you know when we talk about the self cleansing and non scouring velocities in future. Okay, so here the wastewater is taken up using the underground sewerage systems, and that is taken to the water treatment plant, wastewater treatment plant, and it is treated as per the norms of the pollution control boards. Okay, see, now let us see the difference between conservancy system and water carrier system. This conservancy system is very cheap in initial cost because it does not involve any construction of sewerage system, including manholes, your underground pipelines, drains, etc. So here water carrier systems involves the high initial cost. Okay, so another important difference is due to the foul smells from the latrines, they are to be constructed away from living rooms so that building design cannot. Here, as you can see, the buildings design cannot be compact in case of water conservancy system. Okay, so here in water carrier system, as there is no foul smelling latrines, so they remain clean with the flushing of the toilets with enough water, so the building designs can be compacted. In conservancy system, the aesthetic appearance of the city cannot be improved. That means, so due to the conservancy system, the buildings cannot be compact, and it has to be buildings, and the toilets has to be placed as per the requirement of the conservancy system. So it will not have much of aesthetic appearance. So whereas in water carrier system we can have the good aesthetic appearance. That means we can design and locate the toilets and bathrooms as per the requirement, maintaining the aesthetic property. For burial of experimental matter, large area is required, okay, to carry the waste. If the town is big or a city is big, to carry and to bury this experimental matter, very huge area is required. Here in case of water carrier system, less area is required as compared to the conservancy system. Here excreta is not removed immediately, hence its decomposition starts before removal, causing nuisance smell. Here what happens is, in old conservancy system, all the nitrile and the waste it will be there in the conservancy, because it will be carried once in a day or twice in a day depending upon the quantity. So that's why the decomposition starts, and it will create the bad odor in the vicinity of the residential areas. So here in case of water carrier system, the excreta is removed immediately with water, hence there is no problem of foul smell, and proper hygiene can be maintained. Okay, and the last difference is this system is fully dependent on human agency. In case of strike by the sweepers, there is danger of insanitary conditions in the city. Here what happens is, so nowadays as you can see, there is lot of labor problem, and these sweepers and waste pickers are required to this conservancy system for efficient operation. In case of their absence, then this system gets choked, and it will be very difficult for managing the waste, and it may lead to the insanitary conditions. Whereas here in water carrier system, so there is no much labor involved unless except particularly at the wastewater treatment plant. Otherwise most of the system gets worked with the presence or flushing of the using water. Okay, and this is the one of the important difference between these two systems. Okay, so usually sometimes this will be asked in your examinations about write the or state out the differences between the conservancy system and water carriage systems. Okay, so this next coming to this, it is called as the systems of sewerage. Okay, or sewerage system. Please remember here, systems of sanitation are different and systems of sewerage system, sewerage system are different. Okay, so that is just the systems of sanitation, okay, as per the book. Okay, so that's why don't get confused in the examination. When the question is asked between system of sanitation, then you should write the difference between conservancy and water carrier system. So when they ask about the sewerage system, then you should mention this sewerage system. Okay, so basically there are three types of sewerage system. One is called a separate system, second one combined system, partially combined or partially separate system. As you can see, as the name itself suggests, okay, the separate system of sewerage consists of two different sewers or pipes. Okay, so here one set of pipes will carry the storm water and another set of sewers will carry the wastewater. Okay, the sewage is carried to the sewage treatment plant and the storm water is disposed to the river. Okay, so here the advantages of this separate system is the sewer size are small. Okay, and the sewage load on treatment unit is less because the storm water carried separately. That's why the load on the treatment plant is less. Okay, here rivers are not polluted because only rainwater or storm water is discharged into the rivers. Okay, storm water can be discharged to the rivers without any treatment. Okay, so it will reduce again additional burden of economic aspects because if the load or the quantity of the water which is to be treated is more, then we have to spend more money for the treatment of the wastewater. So coming to disadvantages, the sewers being very small, it is difficult to clean them because due to the less size of the sewers, some solid materials may block the sewers. Then if they are small, then sometimes it becomes difficult for cleaning. Okay, and frequent choking problem will be there. Okay, the system proves to be costly as it involves two sets of sewers. Okay, that is, we have to maintain two sets of sewer, one for sanitary sewage and one for storm water. Okay, the use of storm sewers is only partial because in dry season there will be these things will be converted into dumping places and may get clogged. Here generally what happens is only during the rainy seasons these stormwater sewers are used. Okay, because those sewers may get clogged in dry period of a season when we don't have any rainfall at all at that time. So this will get blocked. Okay, due to the unwanted substances or other solid materials. Okay, and sometimes it may also lead to the flooding. Then what are the suitable conditions for separate sewerage system? Okay, so where the rainfall is uneven, then this separate system can be used. Okay, and in certain cases where sanitary sewage is to be pumped. Okay, so what happens if you provide combined system, then we require more power and more high capacity pumps to pump the sewage. Sometimes if the area is under low lying area and the city is under low lying area, and if your treatment plant is located in a higher elevation or a water body is located at a higher elevation, then we don't have any option, nothing but to pump the sewage to that area. So if the separate sewerage system is there, then it becomes economical, so that easily that sewage can be pumped without incurring much economical costs. Okay, and if the drainage area is steep, allowing to run off quickly. Okay, and then sewers has to be constructed in rocky strata. The large combined sewer would be more expensive. What happens, most of the sewers what we construct are underground. If there are any rocky strata region where it is very difficult for excavation and all, then deep excavation has to be made to install the large capacity of combined sewers. In that case, this separate system becomes advantageous. Okay, so these are some of the suitability conditions for separate sewerage system. So then coming to combined system of sewage, here instead of laying two sewers underground, we lay only one set of sewers. So that one set itself will carry both sewage, domestic sanitary sewage, and also the storm water. Okay, so these are some of the advantages and disadvantages. So talking about advantages, the size of sewers being large, choking problems are less and they are easy to clean. Okay, sometimes you may have also seen that people will enter into the manholes, and they can easily clean the bigger pipes and all. So relatively sewer sizes are you know large. If they are large, then so it becomes easy for cleaning and all. And as always the water flows even during dry season, and also during wet season or rainy season, there will be less choking problems, and it becomes easy to clean, okay, in case of combined system. And it proves to be little economical, as one set of sewers are led to carry the wastewater instead of two different sets of sewers. Because of the dilution of sanitary sewage in storm water, nuisance potential is reduced. It means that the sewage being very strong in terms of its quality, if rainwater gets mixed with the storm water, if rainwater gets mixed with this domestic wastewater, then some dilution occurs, okay. So then the nuisance potential is reduced, okay. Then disadvantages means the size of the sewers being very large, it is difficult to handle and transport the sewers, okay. So during excavation, during the lowering and uppering of the pipelines, so it becomes very difficult if the sizes of sewer are more, okay. Sometimes we may also require the cranes, and we require heavy machinery for loading and unloading these pipes from the manufacturing site to the working site and all, okay. And the load on the treatment plant is unnecessarily increased, okay. So that means we are mixing both domestic sewage and also the storm water, then the capacity of the treatment plant should be more. That's why the load on the treatment plant will be more. It is uneconomical if pumping is needed because of large amount of combined flow. That means if pumping is required, we require more quantity of the pumps to pump the combined water, okay. Because quantity will be more, we require more power, and high capacity pumps, again the power cost will be more. So that's why it becomes uneconomical, and that is one of the disadvantage. And unnecessarily we are polluting the storm water here, okay. So that means no doubt it gets diluted, the sewage, but unnecessarily if it's diluted, then it becomes again wastewater. The storm water sometimes will not have much of organic pollutants compared to wastewater, but if it gets mixes with the wastewater, that again it is polluted. Then what are the conditions suitable for this combined system, okay. So if the rainfall is even throughout the year, then the combined system is suitable. Then both the sanitary sewage and storm water has to be pumped. In some cases we may have to pump both sanitary sewage as well as the storm water. In that case we can adopt this method, okay. So because if you provide separate pumps for separate system, then it becomes difficult. The area to be sewered is heavily built up, and space for laying two sets of pipe is not enough, okay. Sometimes due to the compacted lanes, or due to the heavily populated area, and due to the already built up area, sometimes it is difficult to provide two different sets of sewers. In that case this combined system is suitable, okay. And it is effective, or quicker flows have to be provided. Then the last system, partially combined or partially separate system. It is the portion in this system, a portion of storm water during rain is allowed to enter sanitary sewer to treatment plants, while the remaining storm water is carried through open drains to the point of disposal. That's why it is called as partially combined or partially separate system. In this case what happens is, so only during rainy season a part of the rainwater is allowed to enter the sanitary sewer, okay. And some remaining stormwater is carried through open drains to the point of disposal. Here the sizes are not that much large compared to the combined system, okay. So here it combines both the advantages of both the previous system, okay. Here the silting problem is completely eliminated because the water will flow always into the sewerage system, okay. So disadvantages means during dry weather the velocity may be low. Then the storm water is unnecessary put load on the treatment plants, okay. Then pumping of storm water in unnecessary overload the pumps, okay. These are some of the disadvantages, okay. After studying advantages and disadvantages of both the system, okay, in present days the sewers is largely confined to the separate system, except in those cities where combined system is already existing. See, nowadays we talk about recycling and reuse of wastewater, so that is why the separate systems are usually suitable, okay, because the sewage can be treated by taking separately to the treatment plant, whereas rainwater can be used reused by directly discharging to the water bodies without any treatment, and it also becomes economical. That's why, so this you can say it as a concluding remark, that is separate sewage system is most suitable out of all these systems. Okay, so this is the comparison between these two systems. Okay, so the in case of separate system, the quantity of sewage to be treated is less because no treatment of stormwater is done. In case of combined system, as a treatment of both are done, the treatment becomes quite costly for obvious reasons. Okay, that is the quantity will be more. In the cities of more rainfall, this system is more suitable, that is separate system is more suitable. Here in the cities of less population, in the cities of less rainfall, this system is suitable, that is combined system is suitable. Here in the case of separate system, as two sets of sewer lanes are to be laid, this system is cheaper because sewage is carried in underground sewers and storm water in open drains. Here in case of combined system, overall construction cost is higher than separate system because of the large pipelines and large heavy capacity pumps and all. In narrow streets it is difficult to use this separate system. Okay, so in case of combined system, it is more suitable in narrow streets because only one set of sewers is laid. Here less degree of sanitation is achieved in this system as storm water is disposed without any treatment. Here in case of combined system, high degree of sanitation is achieved in this system. Here sometimes the rainwater also picks up some other impurities which is lying onto the land when the rainfall falls onto the land. So that water is not treated in case of separate system. We directly discharge into the rivers and water bodies. So here in case of combined system, all the water is collected, that is rainwater as well as domestic water in the sewers, and hence it will be having some more hygiene. Okay, so sources of the sewage. Okay, so sanitary sewage is produced from various human activities. Okay, so that means the domestic sewage is obtained from the domestic activities like bathing, utensil cleaning, for flushing water closets and urinals, or washing clothes, or any other domestic use. Okay, so whatever the water we use, so that water is called as the sewage, that is the water which finds its entry into the sewerage system upon the usage, after the domestic usage, is called as sanitary sewage. Okay, and apart from our domestic purpose, we also use water for the industrial purposes. Okay, so most of the industries need water for various processes, like for dyeing, for washing, and for various other operations, for cooling towers and all. So upon the useful usage of water for their particular industrial purpose, the water gets discharged at the industrial wastewater. Okay, and water which is supplied to the schools, cinemas, hotels, railway stations, etc., when water gets used in these buildings and all, so the sewage, domestic sewage is obtained. Okay, and also groundwater infiltration into the sewers through loose joints, and also due to the unauthorized entrance of rainwater in sewage lines. So these are all the different sources of sewage. Okay, so what is the nature of the sewage? Okay, sewage is a dilute mixture of various types of wastes coming from the residential and industrial places. Okay, the characteristics and composition, it mainly depends on the source. That is, if it is coming from a domestic source, the characteristics is different. If it is coming from a industrial any industry like leather industry, paper industry, or meat industry, or poultry industry, it depends on the process which is happening in the particular industry. That's why the characteristics may vary. Sewage contains organic and inorganic matters which may be dissolved, suspended, or in colloidal state. Sewage also contains various types of bacteria, viruses, protozoa, cysts, etc. Sewage may also contain toxic or other similar materials which might have got entry from industrial discharges. Before the design of any sewerage system, the knowledge of the nature of sewage is essential. That means, like I told you, the parameters and characteristics, it differs from the domestic sewage to the particular industrial sewage. The person who is designing the sewage treatment plant should have the knowledge of the characteristics, quantity, flows, etc. to effectively treat the waste as per the norms without causing any damage to the environment and also for the well-being of the humans. Okay, then for designing the system we need the quantities, right? So how much quantity of sewage is generated and how much quantity of storm water is generated. Okay, the treatment of sanitary sewage is necessary because we have to properly design the sewage treatment plant. Okay, and the size, shape and depth of the sewer depend on quantity of the sewage. The size of pumping unit depends on the quantity of the sewage. Okay, so that means all the appurtenances of the sewerage system depends on the quantity of the sewage. That means the size of the pipelines, the gradient, then the manholes, its location, and the location of the storm street inlets and all those things, it depends on the quantity of the sewage. Okay, how to estimate the sanitary sewage and also the stormwater sewage? Okay, so sanitary sewage is mostly the spent water of the community into sewerage system with some groundwater and a fraction of storm water running from the area draining to it. Okay, so that means basically in simple terms you understand that whatever the water we use for our human consumption, after its useful usage we discharge the wastewater, that is called as sanitary sewage. Okay, and it is also called as dry weather flow. Okay, so that means here we will not take into account of the storm water flow or rainwater. That is why it is called as dry weather flow. That means the flow which is coming from the residential and industrial areas and other areas, manufacturing units, etc., without considering the rainwater. Okay, then we have the storm water. It consists of the water coming in the form of runoff from roof, yards and other open spaces. That is called as storm water. Okay, both of the quantities are necessary for designing the sewerage system. Irrespective of the sewerage system you design, like separate, combined or partially separate or partially combined, we have to know the quantities of the dry weather flow as well as wet weather flow. Okay, so coming to quantity of sewage. Okay, so we have studied that in water treatment the average rate of water consumption is 135 LPCD according to the Indian standards. Okay, so it may be 150 liters or it may be 200 liters, it depends on the standard of living, but as per Indian conditions, okay, it is 135 LPCD, or in most of the cities it is 135 liters per day if you have the facility of toilet flushing. Okay, here it widely depends on the size or a town, and it also depends on the standard of living of the people. On an average you can take it as in between 135 to 150 LPCD. Okay, here the quantity which flows during the dry season of a year is called as the dry weather flow. Okay, and as you have seen, this quantity varies seasonally, okay, annually and also daily, and even it varies for in a day, because so we use water for different activities. Okay, so you have seen that the peaks will form in the early morning and also in the late evenings for water supply. Similarly, whatever the water is supplied, that water again has to be discharged in the form of sewage, hence that curve will have the similar pattern. Okay, So how to take the quantity or estimate how much sanitary sewage is coming into your sewerage system, because that is important for the deciding the pipelines. Okay, so here what we generally take is whatever the water we supply, from that water 75 to 80% or 70 to 85% of the water will come out as the wastewater. That means if you are supplying 100 liters of water per person per day, approximately 70 to 80 liters of that water will be coming out as the wastewater. Okay, so that is the general rule which we take and follow for the design of the sewerage systems and the sewer pipes. Okay, so it is directly dependent on the population. Okay, because we have to supply water according to the population. Okay, and also this demand increases due to the standard of the living condition and also the habit of the people. Like some people use bucket for taking bath, and some people use bucket water for washing the clothes, and some people use the bathtub. Okay, and some people will also take a shower, and some people will take a shower by collecting the water in a bucket, and some people use washing machines for washing their clothes. Okay, so depending upon the habit of the people, so these quantities vary a little bit. Okay, so that means as the standard of living increases, the water demand also increases, and in turn the wastewater discharge also increases. Okay, so these are the factors which affect the quantity of the sewage. Okay, so it can be broadly, the quantity of the sewage flow in the sewer depends on these four factors. One is population and the type of area, rate of water supply, then infiltration and exfiltration. Okay, apart from this, it is affected by the habits of the people, number of industries and water pressure in the system. Okay, so that I told you, population is the important function, because we will supply water as per the population. As the population increases, the quantity of water supply increases, also the sanitary sewer generation also increases. Okay, there are various methods of population prediction and all for designing the sewerage system. Generally we take the design period as 30 to 40 years, similar to the case of water supply system. That means we use the population forecasting methods, and we will predict the population for next 3 to 4 decades, and for that population we will design the water supply as well as the sewerage system. Okay, see the type of area covered, it also depends on what type of area to which you are serving. That means, so it could be a residential area, industrial area or commercial area. Okay, so this quantity is expressed in terms of LPCD or liters per capita per day. Okay, so depending upon the type of industries, it depends for which type of industries we are supplying the water, because some require more water, some industries require less water, so that carefully it has to be considered and before designing the sewerage system for a particular area. If it is a residential, it is a direct function of population. If it is a industrial or commercial establishment, it depends on the process. Okay, so then it also depends upon the rate of water supply. Okay, it is a direct function of water supply. Okay, we use water for the other purposes, like lawn sprinkling and if you have manufacturing processes and all. So very little water will enter to the sewerage system for the other quantities. So from all these quantities, and that's why we usually take the water supply 70 to 85% water as the wastewater generation. That means around 70 to 85% of the water supply will come out as the wastewater or sewage. Okay, so what is this infiltration and exfiltration? Okay, sometimes the definition will be asked, what is infiltration and exfiltration? Okay, infiltration means the quantity of sanitary sewage which enters into your sewerage system. Okay, here what happens is, so sometimes as most of the sewers are laid underground. Okay, so due to the improper joints or due to the bad workmanship, the water may enter into the sewers. Okay, so it has to be taken into consideration while designing the sewerage system. Okay, and infiltration means the entering of the ground, the surface water or the rainwater or any other water which flows onto the ground into the sewers. Okay, that is called as infiltration. Exfiltration means, so due to again same bad workmanship and due to the leaks from the joints, the water may flow out of the sewers. That is called as exfiltration. Okay, so this is also taken into account for the design of sewers. Okay, so this happens because of the poor construction or bad pipe fittings, and sometimes the roots gets penetrated because it is, sewers are laid underground, and it will damage the pipelines, and also due to the traffic loading, the sewer gets disturbed inside the ground, and due to the traffic loadings, the joints may dislocate, and the water may leak. That is called as exfiltration. That means infiltration means entering the water into the sewers. Exfiltration means from the sewers the water will leak into the ground. Okay, and these are some of the estimated values that of infiltration. Okay, so for the population of 5,000, the liters per day per hectare depending upon the area, so it could be 5,000 and the maximum it could be 50,000. Okay, then depending upon the per kilometer diameter of the sewage, it is 500 and maximum is 5,000. Okay, so these are some general infiltration values based on the experimentation purposes. Okay, so we'll stop at this stage. Okay, we'll continue in the next class about what is design period and all. Okay.